Hello, querents of YouTube. This is I.MAGI.NATION bringing you a free tarot reading on what was the lesson from this past entanglement. Now, entanglement can mean any sort of involvement with another individual. It doesn't necessarily mean romantic, but we will have a look and see what the cards have to say. But before we do, I would like to start this off by acknowledging the land in which this video is being recorded from. So let's begin with that. In the spirit of respect, reciprocity, and truth, we honor and acknowledge that together we live, work, and play on this land of the people of traditional Treaty 7 territory. The Blackfoot Confederacy, Siksika Kanai Pikani. The Tsuut'ina Nations, Iarhe Nakoda, and Region 3 Métis Nation of Alberta. Alright, so after a small glitch, we are back. And we're going to have group number 1 be the red pen, group number 2 the green pen, and group number 3 the blue pen. So take a moment to get yourself in whatever zone you need to, focus, have a moment to look at each color, feel whether you get a yes or no for whichever group you are going to participate in viewing. And with that being said, we're going to get ready to start with our red pen group. So, we're going to look into the entanglement between you and another individual and find out what were you meant to learn from each other. Shuffling skills are suffering today. So, group number 1, let's shuffle yourself, them, three cards for you. Ooh, there we go. Three cards for them. Three cards, please. 1, 2, and 3 and 4. Sure, why not? I'm cool with it. Okay, first we're going to start with this, group 1. This side represents yourself, your past, present, and upcoming. The same for this individual. So in regards to your entanglement, group number 1, it seems like you've been having a hard time possibly letting go of either this person in particular or something from your past. It seems like it's been rocky roads ahead, or that you're not able to feel like you can get away from the scenario. It didn't seem like it was an imbalanced connection between either one of you on a major level. Maybe one was dominating the scenario. Giving more or taking more, etc. is a big indicator of the imbalance going on here. So with the Two of Cups reversed, we definitely have this energy that is someone is getting more than the other. There's not mutual reciprocity going on, but this seems to be continuing to this present day, right? Because that was your past placement and this is your present, and it's even more so now because Temperance is definitely large scale out of whack. And yet you feel like you would possibly continue to defend what you are doing in this entanglement. I feel like that you're willing to say, no, this is worth continuing to work on, or that you mentally believe that this is worth continuing to invest your energy in, even though you feel like, oh my god, this is so laborious and I'm so drained and I'm not going anywhere that I want to be going, which is a rather interesting standpoint to feel come through here. The other individual is represented by the Seven of Wands reversed. So it feels like this individual can't really make up their mind, or doesn't seem to want to dedicate themselves entirely to one thing. They haven't been able to maintain a stable position. It's ironic because in the past, this person probably did have a very stable position. Maybe they had a really long-term committed relationship in the past that really probably broke their heart. One where they were very much like, I'm willing to invest everything into this cup. But it definitely doesn't. So, like, because the Four of Wands is the past, I mean, it feels like that's not how it is anymore. But I could be wrong. I could also be getting the energy that they did feel like it was successful. However, with the Seven of Cups reversed, they're currently unsure what to invest themselves in. And that may be why you may feel like there's a large imbalance between you, because this person is possibly looking at all these cups and unsure what to do. And you're like, this is a damn fucking pattern that keeps happening to me. Why do I keep having people who are like not willing to just be equal in reciprocity in their emotional giving to me? Now, this person may be more interested in some hot, passionate fun with you or with others. It just seems very much like, let's wham bam and thank you ma'am. And also may have a lot of issues in their belief systems or how they think, or just having basically issues. I don't want to say issues, but like troubles with their mental health, you know? Probably extremely hypercritical of themselves, probably, hurt from the past and like blaming it on themselves and doing a mental shame spiral is what I'm getting here based on what they are showing up card-wise. So I want to look at what were you meant to learn consciously and subconsciously from this entanglement, or like imprint. There we go. So this one goes together, so consciously, subconsciously, and for them, consciously and subconsciously. Consciously, subconsciously. So group number one, consciously, it seems like for you, you have the Five of Wands reversed and the Knight of Wands reversed. And this very much says, it's time to stop struggling and fighting for all this other stuff that doesn't suit you, you know? It seems like you are really exacerbating yourself for this individual, like you're willing to stand up for the connection even though you feel like it's totally not working for you. Now, this could be romantic or not, but if it's, a project or a collaboration or whatever, it's time to like stop trying to hold space for all of this stuff that no longer serves you. It's draining you. It is being an energetic vampire. It is feeding nothing but themselves. And this is something that you are consciously aware of and is what you are meant to learn from this entanglement. Subconsciously, it means to stop lollygagging in it and take action. And perhaps that's what you're going to do also with this Knight energy. Maybe you'll be like, I've made up my mind and I'm going to go forth. But at the beginning of this, it definitely felt like maybe you were more into the energy of defending it. But on a subconscious level, internally, it's going to be about you taking action and moving forward when you know that things are no longer serving you, rather than staying within that energy. For this individual, what they were meant to learn from this experience consciously is the Ten of Cups. What is it that they really want in a relationship? Romantically, we will say in this instance, because this is kind of like the be-all emotional fulfillment card. So for them, by knowing you, it will bring up their notion of what is the happy picture that they dream of for themselves. And it seemed like they had something like that in the past, right, with this Four of Wands that they were very excited about. And that notion has been brought up to be questioned and examined by the mere fact of being with you. The Sun card and the Ace of Swords, head up, focus. Beep, beep, beep. Focusing? There we go. The Sun card says that unconsciously, they certainly derived a lot of pleasure by doing what they wanted to do, but they learned that they really needed to put in a lot more work, that they can't just go around and be like, oh, I'm going to do what pleases me and only me. Although that does seem entirely like what they did in this instance, but it is bringing up woundings to the surface that they need to think about and logically move forward with. So let's get ourselves some more insight here. So let's see. Final for you. It's time to let go. Final for them. Oof. They gotta start thinking about higher commitment stuff. Final overall. Ooh, that's a lot. We'll go through that fast, I feel like. But pile number one, it definitely seems like it is time for you to just let it go. Fours are coming up as a thing for you here. So it's action. It's time to move forward. It's time to let it go. Don't hold on to it. You knew long ago that this was not for you. You knew that this was a struggle, that you were putting in more effort, that it was absolutely draining. You knew that you were in a very unbalanced scenario and it was not right for you. Time to let it go. This individual is learning about and needing to make ultimately decisions on higher commitment, on being able to get back to a place. Like there's an inner longing for this individual because they had this in their past, this Four of Wands. This shows that there was something that they were really excited for at one point in time, and that they're consciously learning about the Ten of Cups means that this is being brought up by de facto of being with you about what they want as commitment. It just doesn't seem to be with you. It's that you are a catalyst or a lesson for them moving forward. And then we have this interesting fallout of groups, which is the Devil card. So it could be about our patterns that bind us. Five of Cups reversed, getting out of depression and yet still suffering with anxiety issues and feeling like on one hand we don't want to move forward, there's no future here, and yet definitely want to have love, don't want to be alone, and definitely wants to have the nurturing energy or be the nurturer to another person. So with that, I would give some caution that between the two of you, there is a pattern that you both share that binds you two together in this experience. And it has to do with solving your issues of depression by being in a relationship with another person, because you have anxieties over being alone. You feel like you can't move forward, or that you need to have this to be able to be having a good life, but it's actually blocking you by having this anxiety around it. The issue of wanting to be in a relationship for the fact of distracting yourselves from heartache or issue causes more issue ultimately. And it's because one is like an extreme nurturer and the other one is starving for being nurtured. And that is why the two of you were entangled together. So group number one, this is your reading as to the lessons of that last entanglement. Maybe not even over kind of tanglement it seems, but who knows. Let me know how you thought this reading went for you, and I will get ready to move on to group number two. All right, switching it up to group number two. Group number two, let's look at your last entanglement and what is the lesson that you were meant to learn from that entanglement. Shuffling. All right, let's get one card for you. Wheel of Fortune. One card for the other individual. Chariot reversed. 3 cards for you. 1. 2 more cards for you, please. 2. 1 more. Okie dokie. Same for the other individual. Well, they seem to got double the amount, so we'll take it. We'll see what's up with that. So we're going to start with this for now. Group 2. We have you being represented by the Wheel of Fortune, which means you feel like you're in a pretty good place. You feel like things move in your favor, that, you know, timing seems to be right, that things kind of are, you know, happening when they need to be happening. It wasn't always like that, though. In the past, you definitely struggled with having unequal entanglements with other individuals. Excuse me. And at the present time, you are kind of done the struggling of fighting all of those issues from the past where you felt like, oh, maybe I blame myself, maybe I blame them, maybe I blame the circumstance, whatever. You're not in that space right now. You are in a space where most of that turmoil has kind of dropped away and that you're in a good place. However, going forward, it seems like you may be revisiting some patterns that are part of a cycle that reappears for you over and over again in challenging entanglements. Now, the individual in question is represented by the Chariot reversed, and that means they're not going anywhere. They are definitely stuck energy. They are slow. They are just not moving forward with you at all, and that may be causing you a lot of frustration. Although you feel like you're in a really good place of good fortune and timing, they don't at all. Now, where is this coming from? In the past, it seems that there is this struggle mentally with their mental health and having a lot of self-criticism. around themselves, and having that squashing their passions. Like, they may be quite a passionate individual, but when they get an idea into their head that seems like they want to go after it, they start to be like, no, you're not capable, you're not good, and they constantly paralyze themselves with being able to move forward on anything. So that's the recent past. At present, it seems to be in continuing, where they don't feel like they have any emotion to be able to give to people, or they're in like an emotionally drained position themselves. And this comes from the fact that they feel like they don't have any stability under their feet, that they have no greatness, proverbially speaking, to offer to someone. They don't have a kingdom to be like, here's everything that I built. They just feel a lot of self-shame. What they really desire for the future is to not be stuck in this same pattern over and over again, to break it, to be something entirely new, which is to be this stable provider type individual, but they don't feel like they are that at all right now, and they have certainly been struggling with feeling that way in the past, and it doesn't seem like they're making a lot of progress towards it. So let's now look at some more information, which would be what was the lesson that you needed to learn consciously and subconsciously, and the same for them. So what did you need to learn consciously? Woo-ha! What did you need to learn subconsciously? Okay, we'll come back to that. And for them, what did they need to learn consciously? And what did they need to learn subconsciously? All right. So, my dear group number 2, what you need to learn is when to let the dead horse lie. That sounds awful. I mean, it says that you've had this issue before where you tried possibly, and right now you're not in that energy, but this cycle is going to come up again. You know that there's a point when things just cannot continue any further. The horse is dead. Let it lie. It's an opportunity for newness to come in. Now, for you subconsciously, it's about learning from past mistakes, finding moments of education, and using it to help you in your manifestation powers. What are you actually wanting to attract and bring in? Again, because it seems like there's something about these connections that you really like secretly and therefore attract, even though it sounds like it's a very hard and difficult thing, right? Like, nobody like 10 swords stuck in the back, right? So, but there's something about it that's intoxicating. There's something that has that binding devil energy, and it's gonna be something that shows up again. So even though the timing right now may be okay, may be fine, I give you a preemptive warning that it would be important for you to, even though you feel like I've let go of the struggles and the woundings and I'm not so upset by it, it's coming back around with the devil, and you should definitely look into the lessons that you need to learn. We're going to pull some cards on that, and then you need to work on, do I want to manifest that again, or do I want to do something different this time? This individual, they need to learn joy, self-love, self-confidence. Hello! Like, make the focusing go. There we go. Sorry. They need to have some self-esteem, and that sounds a bit harsh, but like this joy, instead of being so heavy, everything in their upper part of the reading was so heavy, and they need to be just more youthful and carefree and radiant. They need to know that they are capable and have the skill sets to do whatever they want to do to become that, King of Pentacles, because it's their limiting beliefs that are constantly shaming them and constantly like dampening their day and extinguishing the radiance of the sun, because they don't believe that they have this ability to actually do anything. And deep down, they do, but they can't consciously recognize it. They need more confidence. Where'd we go? Goodness gracious, the tech issues of our time. So, we're going to look for advice for you, advice for them, and overall advice. Advice for you, advice for them. Ooh, that one. And overall advice. That one. Okay. The advice for you, we have Two of Pentacles reversed. And I think that very much says, like, you've got 3 2s in this reading, right? You've got your 2 of Cups reversed, and you've got a 2 of Wands, and then you have the 2 of Pentacles reversed. It seems like there is something very much entangled for you around the number 2. Perhaps in how you value yourself is identified in relationship with another being, and that you focus on manifesting another being in an entanglement with them constantly. I think what I get, and don't shoot the messenger here, is that this says stop juggling for a little bit and just focus on yourself. Get some stability for yourself first. You may be like, oh yeah, but I feel so good in this time. It's not, it's a short time, it's the wheel turning. The wheel doesn't always stay that way. This is a point where that circle is going to come back around, and you need to just take time for yourself to try and figure out around these attachment patterns and what you actually want to bring into your reality. For this individual that you were previously entangled with, they need to learn taking mental action. They need to work on strengthening their mind and their mental chatter and putting it in energy directed towards something more purposeful, more towards their goals. For both of you, it seems as though really this is about your belief structures, and that there are some challenges here that you have to look at within your own mindsets, because that's what brought the two of you together, is your beliefs have you kind of bound to one another, and that's why you had your entanglement experience. So group number 2, that is your reading on the lessons of your entanglement. I thank you so much for coming by for your free timeless tarot reading by I.MAGI.NATION, and we'll see you next time. Oh yeah, this. Group number 3, my blue pens. Let's have a look and find out the lessons of your last entanglement. So, 1 card for you. One card for them. Three cards for you. If we can get them out. Get them out, get them out. There we go. 1, 2. 1 more for you, please. That one. And let's go over and do the same for the individual in question. Three cards, please. That's a lot. So we'll take the top. Aha. One more. Okay, we're going to start with this, group number 3. So it says here that you are represented by the Nine of Pentacles reversed. And what's that telling me is that you may not be feeling entirely in your personal power, independent, totally stable, like you've got your bills, you can handle everything, you don't need nobody kind of thing. There's some issues there. Maybe you are feeling like you need to rely on another individual to guarantee your personal security. In the past, we've got the Ace of Swords, and it very much says that you've had some trials and tribulations. You've managed to get through them. They haven't been easy, but you've certainly had your fair share of challenges. Currently, the world, and that means there is a major cycle in your life that is coming to end. Perhaps it's around these issues with, like, you know, hardships that have come up in the past to test you or made you feel like you weren't able to be as independent. But the World card is saying that a new chapter is opening, and it may include a hell of a lot of sexy time. And the reason why I say that is because this Son of Wands is the Knight of Wands energy, and it could be extremely sexy time. If you don't want to be having some extremely sexy time, or you're just passionate or excited about something else, that's all the same type of energy. But it's interesting, and I am interested to see how new cards come, because on one hand, there's a blockage here with not feeling totally in your power, but you're excited to get out there, and that can have some dilemmas, and we'll see when the cards fall. The person you were last entangled with, it was not your forever person, basically. This is the Ten of Cups reversed, and they were not, maybe you wanted it to be at one point in time, but you found out that they weren't, and it could have, it could have actually fucked you right up, whether it was that you had both entangled your finances together, whether how the scenario fell apart left you with some more financial or material struggles. That could all interplay in that energy of the Nine of Pentacles reversed. But this person was not the person that, could fulfill you for the long term. They were coming from a place of still being completely heartbroken from their previous entanglement themselves. They weren't even open to be able to be in union with you. They just wanted to try at the time to, like, move forward. They didn't care. They were just like, I'm not moved on, but I'm going to pretend like I am anyway to see if I can force it to happen. But instead, they turned out just to be emotionally toxic, and continue to do so. And that's probably why this is a previous entanglement. I could be wrong. But let's look at the lesson consciously and subconsciously that you were meant to learn from this experience. So we'll begin with consciously. Wow, that's a lot. Ooh. So that's your conscious pile. And let's see what you have for subconscious. That one. And this individual. Conscious lesson. Subconscious lesson. Interesting. So, for yourself, group number 3, what we have showing up here. Consciously, you were meant to learn from this. Basically discernment, but we're going to get through it. So, we have the Daughter of Wands reversed here. Being able to discern when things are really just about lust. When it's not actually the right time for something, and to be able to see whether or not this is actually something that you want to invest yourself in, whether you think it's successful. Ultimately, it's about becoming more discerning towards other people and what you're bringing into your life and what you're allowing. Now, it's one thing, of course, to get heated up and excited. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with having temporary things. But it's about, is this worth my energy? Is this what I'm hoping for with the Four of Wands, right? Because if you're hoping for a long-term attachment and you already know that this thing isn't going to give it to you, then why bother? And that's about needing to be brutally honest and vulnerable with yourself. For the other individual, what they consciously needed to learn was the Wish card. Basically, what it is that they actually emotionally want, instead of running away from it with that Eight of Wands energy. They were not even remotely ready to be emotionally present with another individual. I think they were still pining for another person. They were pining over not feeling like they were the emperor of their kingdom, that they had nothing that they could actually provide. They were meant to learn to temper and balance the anger, rage, egotism, etc., that were qualities that may have been things that they shame themselves over or feel like destroyed the kingdom of the past that they were still lamenting. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at advice for you, advice for them, and advice overall. So advice for you, advice for them, advice for them, please. Okay. That was a lot. My goodness. Advice overall. Advice overall. Alright. So, group number 3. Your advice is the Magician reverse. It is time to stop prioritizing others, thinking that they are going to fulfill you. It is time for you to be with yourself. It is time for you to get confident, to get secure, to not think that it's going to be through others that you will find happiness, joy, personal power, confidence, esteem, etc. It's all within you. You just don't believe that right now, which, just because I'm saying it doesn't mean that you'll believe it either. But the idea of the Magician reversed means that, like, you are lacking in the confidence of you being able to do all of this yourself. And it's really, the discernment is choose you over someone else, right? Choose what you know is best for you over than thinking that you need someone else in your life to make it better. You only need you. For them, they have Son of Wands reversed. I really think the advice here is to, like, if you are not emotionally ready, wait. Don't jump into things when you are not emotionally available. Wait it out. It's going to be better for everyone to have, new, healthy, appropriate, more colorful, more vibrant emotional beginnings if you actually wait until you are emotionally stable and ready to welcome that into your life. The energy advice between the two of you is heal and let go of each other. It's Five of Pentacles reversed. You're not worse off, or if you are, it's like the ending of that cycle. It's time to rebuild, come out of this, and learn from the lessons to help build a solid structure under your feet. This scenario is no longer draining the life force of you. And it goes both ways here. So, and not to say that you necessarily were draining the life force of them, but that if they were already this emotionally not available, it was probably really draining to begin with because they were still bleeding out for the other scenario in their past. Choose yourself, group number 3. Choose being in your own power. You do not need someone else to fulfill you. You are capable. Stand within your magician energy. And for this other person, wait. Just wait to get into new emotional things until you have processed whatever pain from the past. Running away from it and replacing it with someone else doesn't actually do anything for you. So group number 3, that is your reading on your last emotional entanglement and the lessons you were meant to learn from it. With that being said, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. This has been I.MAGI.NATION, bringing you a free tarot reading, Timeless Tarot. And you can check out the rest of stuff that I do over at imaginationwitch.com. I'm also on Instagram in case you want to go over and see what I offer over on that channel. Thank you again, and you have yourself a great day.